Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speedbuilding video, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. So in today's video I'm going to be building in the world of Willow Creek, which is one of the base game worlds, and I'm going to be building a classic family suburban home. So originally when I actually came in and started off building this house, I did actually have a plan and a goal in mind. Originally I wanted to build an affordable family home. So if you actually look in the bottom left hand corner, you can see that I've actually set the household funds to be quite low. When I actually started off building the house it was set to 50k, but as you know, build walls and whatnot, obviously that decreases. I think right now is sitting at 42,000 simoleons. It's really small on my screen as I'm doing this voiceover, but if that's correct, then my eyesight is much better than what I thought it was. But I basically came in with the initial plan to build something that was within the 50,000 simoleons budget. So if you wanted to download a house off the gallery and maybe you're playing with like a legacy family or something, because whenever I play the game myself, I never really seem to cheat the money system, because I feel like whenever I cheat money, I don't know if anyone else finds this, but whenever I cheat it and I do mother load or whatever, then I get bored really easily. I really like getting my Sims to actually work for all the money that they have. And if you're someone like me and you want to download a house off the gallery, sometimes that can be quite hard. I say this as the majority of the houses on my own gallery are quite expensive to download, but I had it in mind that I wanted to build something for, you know, legacy players or something like that that wanted to have a new house and didn't want to spend hundreds of thousands of simoleons. But it didn't go to plan. It really didn't. It went out the window very quickly. It ended up being, I think, around about 95,000 simoleons. As always, the build details will be in the description box down below if you want to know the exact amount of money it actually ends up being, alongside with the lot size and what like packs I used and whatnot. The lot size is 30 by 20, by the way, if you're curious. It's actually built in the neighbourhood that Eliza and Bob Pancakes live in. So if you're familiar with that neighbourhood, this is where it's built. And I believe actually when you go into a brand new save file, this lot is actually empty, so there's nothing on it. So maybe if you're trying to fill out all the empty lots in the world, maybe you want to place this down. I feel like maybe it would fit quite well in this area. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that I did actually have an initial plan coming into this build to make it affordable, but it just went out the window very quickly. But moving on from that and actually talking about what I'm doing right now, so as you can see, the main structure of the build came together quite quickly, and I've already actually moved on. I've started landscaping. Now you would think with me trying to stick to a budget and landscaping, you know, there is the live edit menu and the debug menu options available, you know, it's free landscaping. You would have thought that I would have just stuck to the live edit and the debug plants. I didn't. I actually spent money on landscaping, which when you're trying to stick to a budget probably isn't the smartest move, but I did actually do it on purpose. So 9 times out of 10 whenever I landscape, I use majority of the live edit menu and the debug menu plants, just because they look a lot nicer, they look a little bit more fuller, and a lot of the time they look a lot darker as well. Now I did actually use 2 different plants when I was landscaping the different flower beds that actually cost your Sims money. Now I did it on purpose because the ones in the live edit menu for them particular plants are really light. So the plants that I'm talking about is, you know, the cats and dogs fern. I have absolutely no idea how to describe this plant to you. I hope you know which one I'm talking about. It's one of the plants that we actually got from cats and dogs. It's a fern, I think. I don't even know. I really hope that you know what I'm talking about, because I have no idea how to describe this plant to you. I've just placed it down, that one. Right, so them ones I actually spent money on, as well as them little pale flowers that I'm also just popping underneath the flower beds. Now the reason why I actually spent money on them is because the ones in the live edit menu are a lot more, they're a lot lighter and they're a little bit exposed, and I just don't like the look of them. So I ended up spending probably 1,000 or maybe 2,000 simoleons on the landscaping, which in all fairness, the amount of plants and, you know, trees and whatnot that I've got going on in both the front garden and the back garden is quite good going. But I mean, you can do it for cheaper if you want to. If you've got the live edit menu and the debug menu installed into your game, it is so much easier. I say if you've got it installed into your game, it's from a mod, which by the way, the mod that I use so I can actually get access to the debug and the live edit menu is the Better Build and Buy mod, which is my number one, you know, my number one mod. I don't think I could actually build without this mod anymore, but I've always got it linked in the description box down below, and that's how I'm always able to get things from the debug menu and the live edit menu, just really easy. It's all from that mod. Highly recommend it. I honestly don't know what I actually did without that mod before it came out. I actually don't know, because it's a lifesaver. But anyway, moving on from that and actually talking a little bit more about the house itself. As you can see, I've actually moved on. I've actually started furnishing the back garden. Quickly, I want to say what I'm doing right now, because I've been doing this in some of my previous videos and I keep on forgetting to mention it. And people have been asking me, why are you putting a light in the middle of something, or why are you using it in the room and you end up deleting it? basically what you would have seen me do is I actually placed down this little like seating area for your sim to sit at and, you know, eat their dinner, have a barbecue and whatnot. And there is actually an umbrella pole in the middle of the table. Now I wanted to move objects and items on top of the table, but with the pole in the way, it's a little bit difficult to figure out, okay, where's the pole actually going to be? So what I've actually been doing recently is I've actually been placing like a lampshade or something so I can kind of get an idea of where this pole in the middle of the table is going to be. And then I move the table away, but where I place the lamp in the middle of, for instance, this umbrella table, I place it in the exact placement of where the actual pole for the umbrella would be. So then that way, when I actually clutter up the table and I put all different like candles and salt and pepper shakers on it and whatnot, I have an idea of not to actually put them by the lampshade or like the lamp pole, because that's where the umbrella pole will be. I hope I explained that well enough, but basically I've been putting it down as kind of like an indicator for where an object might end or where there might be something on the object that you want to avoid putting items on top of. It's so easy, and honestly it's a bit of a game changer, and I've only been doing it for the past maybe month or so, but it's a really good trick when you want to clutter up your builds and, you know, you want to just put as much decoration onto surfaces as possible. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention it just because I realised that I've been doing it recently and I've had some comments on it, and I haven't actually said why I've been doing that in my videos, but it's really easy and I would highly recommend doing it if you like to clutter up your surfaces. But anyway, moving from that, as you can see, I've actually gone around back to the front of the house and I've actually just gone around and started putting some ivy onto the walls. I do actually add them, you know, the jungle adventure flowers that we've got, I added them in the white swatch as well, just because I felt like the red swatch would have been a little bit too much, but the white swatch I feel like just fits in with this house and it fits in with the suburban neighbourhood, and it just, them white flowers, which I end up adding in a second, just kind of bring the house all together. I just love them. But in the back garden there is a swing set, there is some planters for your sims to grow fruits and vegetables, there is also a flower arranging table and a little barbecue area. Now you can actually fit a swimming pool in the back garden, but when at this point, the point that you're seeing right now, I still had it in my head that this house was going to be 50k, and me and you both know that that didn't happen. And so I didn't add a swimming pool, but there is room if you wanted to add a swimming pool into the back garden, if you wanted to maybe have another gameplay activity, or if you wanted to actually, you could add the little toddler pool that we've got from the toddler. Is it from the toddler? No, it's from Season. You know, the little paddling pool that toddlers can go in? I believe it's from Seasons. You can add that in as well if maybe you want somewhere where your sims can, you know, lounge in the water and whatnot, because that item, children and teenagers and adults and basically all ages can use it. It's not just for toddlers. But anyway, moving on from that, as you can see, I've actually now moved on into the inside of this house, and I've started off like always by furnishing the kitchen. Now I love this colour scheme for the kitchen, and I haven't actually done this colour scheme in a really long time. These are some of my favourite counters. If you're familiar with my channel, then you'll know how much I use these counters. They're just my ultimate favourite counters in the game. They just go with so many different styles, and they come in some really nice swatches, but I haven't used them in this swatch in a long time, and I really wanted to stick to this kind of lighter wood on the inside. You'll see what I mean. It's not too over, you know, in your face light wood, but it's enough that I like it, because some of the light swatches that we've got from the Dream Home Decorator pack I'm not a massive fan of, but I feel like if you decorate them in a certain way you can make them work, and that's basically what I did in this house. But in the kitchen there is the fridge, which is from base game, and then I actually use the oven and the, I don't know what to call it, because I called it a hob the other week and someone said, what's a hob? The stove top, you know, what you put your pots and pans on. One of them. I use the separate ones that are from Dream Home Decorator in this kitchen, just because I really like them and I want to start using them a little bit more often, because I feel like recently, since we've had that pack, I've barely actually taken full advantage of actually having a separate oven and a separate hob. Although I do wish that you could actually place them on top of each other, because you can't do that for some reason, even though that's quite realistic to have a built-in oven and then the hob or stove top on top of it. But for some reason you can't do it in The Sims 4. I really hope that gets updated one day, because I'd love to be able to place, you know, both a stove and an oven on the same counter, especially for smaller kitchens as well, and you want to use them items from Dream Home Decorator. But anyway, moving on from that, as you can see, I've now moved on into the dining room. Now I did actually use the same method that I used in the back garden for the umbrella pole in the middle of the table in this dining room as well. So I actually used this, I don't even know what to class it as, like a pottery cabinet or like a china cabinet. You know where you'd find all your fancy plates and bowls and cups and whatnot? We actually got this item from Cottage Living, and it's so nice, and it's already got some built-in clutter onto the object, and basically I wanted to clutter it up to make it feel a little bit more homey and a little bit more to this family, and not just leave it completely bare with no clutter on it. So what I actually did is I actually used the same method that I used outside in the back garden with these like lamp posts, and I put them either sides of where the clutter ends in the middle of this china cabinet, because the clutter that's on it, I believe, is like a little woven box, and then I think there's some books on the other side, but there's like a little gap in between them. I put the posts at both ends of where them items end, and then I could see where there was space for me to like put something in. I ended up putting one of the little steamboat decorations that we got from base game, and then I just cluttered up the rest of the surface with, I think, one of them little trays, like them drink trays that we got from Eco Lifestyle, and then maybe like a photo frame and something like that. That's actually something that I really want to see in future packs, is more photo frames, because I feel like I use the same photo frames in every single bit. Well, I say I feel like I use the same photo frames in every single build. The ones of like the football team, you can see I've actually just used it on the hallway table over here. The ones that's got like a pear and an apple, and there's one with a butterfly as well. I feel like we need more than 4 in a game that's like 7 years old or whatnot. But anyway, as you would have seen, I did actually quickly just do it the lounge room. In the lounge room, I used the Eco Lifestyle sofas, the cats and dogs fireplace, and then a base game TV, which I moved objects onto it. There is also an art easel in there as well, because I was really stuck on what to do with the space on one side of the sofa, and I was debating putting a desk there, but it just didn't, the spacing didn't really work out, and it would have looked really squished, and so I decided to put an art easel in there as well. So maybe if you've got a sim that really likes painting, then they could possibly move into this house. But anyway, moving on from that, as you can see, I've actually now moved on into the bathroom. Now this bathroom, I had a lot of fun decorating it, which I don't really ever seem to find bathrooms that much fun, because I feel like it's the same room over and over again. You know, it's a bath, it's a shower, it's a toilet, it's a sink, and that's basically what a bathroom is. But I had a lot of fun decorating this one, because I decided to make it into part bathroom and then part utility room. So this house does actually have a basement, which in my mind, when I actually imagined this family moving in, I imagined that they moved into this house and there wasn't actually enough bedrooms to accommodate for the amount of Sims that there was, and so they decided to make the basement into a bedroom, which I feel like is actually quite realistic as well. I wanted this house to be quite realistic and, you know, quite lifelike, but then again, I'll try and make all my houses like that, so that's not really, that's just, I could say that for every single video, but I wanted it to feel quite realistic. I felt like this family, you know, they didn't have tons of money, they're just kind of like a normal family living on a normal budget, and so they decided to make the basement into a bedroom, and then the basement probably used to be like a utility room or like a woodworking space or a home office or something, just kind of somewhere where you'd have like the pipes and the electricity box and something, but they decided to make it into a bedroom. But with doing that, they then decided to put all of the washing machine and the tumble dryer and everything else into the bathroom. I had a lot of fun decorating that bathroom, but anyway, moving on, as you can see, I've actually now moved on into the said basement. So in here, I designed it to be for a teenager, and I was more so thinking about a teenager that was really into, you know, like rock bands and maybe was in a band themselves. I really want bands in The Sims 4. I've spoken about it so many times, but if we could actually, I say that, I'd really want a drum kit in The Sims 4, because the amount of houses that would be so perfect that I've built in the past, that would be so perfect to have a drum kit in, I would just absolutely love that. But in this basement, this bedroom is so cluttered up. I wanted it to be really messy. I really wanted it to feel like a teenager's bedroom. So hopefully I pulled it off. As you would have seen, I just went through the debug menu and the live edit menu, and I basically just pulled out everything that I feel like a teenager would have in their bedroom. So I've even got some stop signs that I imagine that they might have picked up, maybe coming home from one of their like parties or something. They actually picked this up and they decided to take it home. There's also like a traffic cone in here. There's also just like some general clutter. So there's like headphones and ping pong bats and basketballs, and I even put some discarded food onto the floor as well, because maybe they're not the cleanest of Sims. There's also like pizza boxes shoved underneath the desk, and you know, there's some shelving units that have got some of the collectibles in the game, some of the different My Sim statues, and that poster as well, by the way, with the cow plant. That is from StrangerVille. It's in the debug menu if you're curious. It just really fitted in with this room, and I just thought it just went so nicely. But in this room as well, there is a little TV area where your Sims can actually sit down and actually play video games, because I was more so thinking maybe this teenager is in like a club or a group of friends or something, and they often come round, and you know, maybe it's the hangout spot to come to this Sims basement and play video games. And so I actually put a TV on top of one of the chest of drawers, which is from Parenthood, and the little gaming console station next to it. And then there is actually a little seating area at the end of the bed, because unfortunately your Sims can't actually sit on the bed and play video games. They can watch TV now, which is actually surprisingly a new feature in The Sims 4. Why wasn't that in base game? Besides point. But your Sims can actually watch TV in bed, but they can't play video games. And so I actually put one of these little seating, I don't even know what you call them, just like a little seating block. The one I use is from City Living, and I actually chose that one on purpose because if you actually look at it, at the bottom part of it, it looks like it's either got some like books or DVDs like wedged underneath it. And I was thinking that maybe it was console games, like the DVD console like cases for all the different video games that the teenager plays. And so I just placed it at the end of the bed, and then that way it functions as like a normal armchair or sofa where your Sims will just sit there and play video games. I feel like this is a good time to mention as well, like always, this build has been play tested and I didn't run into any problems, which was actually really nice, because when you come around to play testing a build and you run into some problems, sometimes it can be a little bit annoying, but I didn't run into a single one. So if you do decide to download this build off the gallery, then you won't run into any and it'll be absolutely fine. But also in that room, I did just finish off the basement by adding some cracks onto the walls and like some pipes and electric boxes and whatnot to make it feel a little bit more like a basement. And then as you would have seen, I did actually just quickly do the child's room. So it's actually quite funny because if you look at it, the teenager and the child have completely different personalities, like completely different colour schemes of their room, completely different personalities, but I actually feel like this like the best of mates. Even though they've got different personalities and different styles and they're also different ages, I still feel like they got on really well. But in the child's room, I used one of the Dream Home Decorator bunk beds, and there is also a desk underneath it, and then I also placed down one of the doll's houses, which is from Eco Lifestyle. Then there is also a toy box and then a cuddly toy, and then also, you know, that teddy bear in the middle of the room, when if your Sims actually play with that teddy bear and they actually age up to become either a doctor or a vet, they actually get a nice moodlet saying like I've fulfilled my dream or something. If you know what I'm talking about, I actually placed that into the middle of the room as well. But anyway, now I've actually moved on, I've actually started furnishing it the parents' bedroom. So in here, I decided to go for the Dream Home Decorator bed and then a base game bedside table, because I can never seem to find the bedside table swatch from the Dream Home Decorator pack that matches the bed that's also in the same pack. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm losing my marbles, but to me they don't match, and so I decided to go for a base game one. And there is also some of the sectional wardrobes in this room as well, which are also from the Dream Home Decorator pack. And then I also just placed a little dressing table in the corner so your Sims can sit there and put on their makeup, and then it also functions as a normal mirror as well. And then I'm just going to finish off this room and then go back out to the rest of the house and clutter it up a little bit in like the basement hallway, and you know, just add a few photo frames and whatnot and a bit of clutter, and that is basically it. So anyway guys, I am actually going to end this voiceover here, so as always you can download this build via the gallery. My origin ID is JessicapieYT, or you can just search for the hashtag JessicapieYT or just the hashtag Jessicapie. As always, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and as always, if you do like my content then please do subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next Sims 4 speedbuilding video. Bye guys.